Oh, very warm, slightly cloudy day here in North Carolina. At Reams Fabrication, about to do me a little interview. Guy I know out here making things happen. I like making things happen, so naturally I like this guy.
And my fear is that we're gonna have to cut all of them off.
Why are you gonna talk like that, man?
So what's going on with this big bad rust bucket?
Oh.
Get out of this light. This is kind of
He's
disgusting.
only concerned about the exhaust leak.
Oh.
Not worried about the
None of this.
fan clutch, not the leaking
All
transmission pan.
all the fluid.
Yeah, no, we're not worried about that.
That,
We're not worried about that at all.
Rust on the frame. That's useless.
But see, what's cool? I like this the most.
That is mint.
I like that.
That's custom bodywork.
I like that the most.
And you can't tell me different.
Nope.
So I've got the pump has got to go either. So the pump's either got to go there or it's got to go there. This hose is going to go to it over there. So it'll be up and over. Well, I thought about that, but then, well, I guess it could be. I just don't want that damn wastegate too close to this damn plastic body. Well, no, it'd be on the metal one, so I ain't moving further.
Enough room there, right? Enough room there.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room up under there bolted, but that's my thing. I'm just kind of trying to figure out this pipe was yet to this pipe will come up here. This pipe goes right back to this other one.
You got your fitting?
I'll find something. But I've also got to have room in this hole for yeah, the intercooler pipe's got to go through there.
Fuck it, cut it out some more.
I mean, we can. All I need is a diagram.
Cut it out some more, that's fine.
I really want to cut the floor out no more. Like, there's so much been cut out already. And we still got to make a bracket to raise that exhaust pipe up and back some. Cause it's just sitting on the.
A lot of wiggle.
Well, I mean, look at the weight of the turbo, and the only thing holding it up is rubber mounts up under the body.
Mind giving the people a little bit of a rundown as to what you're doing?
So we had some issues where I was keeping the intercooler too cold with the water to air system. We had to move the intercooler up front. We're going to put a hob switch and rocker switch on the coolant pump, move the coolant pump, relocate it, getting the heat exchanger plumbed back into the system and see if we can reduce the condensation buildup that we were having inside the system because of getting below dew point. Hopefully this will cure it to where once we fill the cooler with ice, so that was kind of I had it laying around, so we did what we did. We stuck the ice tank inside the cooler, bolted the cooler to the bed, siliconed everything in so it wouldn't leak. So we filled the ice tank with ice, and then, well, ice and water. And then on top of it, we put the lid back on and dumped 2 or 3, 4 bags of ice on top of the ice tank. And as that water travels back in and just sits there with the pump being off, if I'm not in boost, that water warms back or cools back down. And that way when we flip the switch on to run again, we can regulate how cold that intercooler's getting under boost. It won't have time to get so cold it'll condensate. Hob switch is kind of just there to activate if I forget to flip the switch on to turn the pump on if I'm running. So once I go into boost, it'll automatically kick the water pump on for the intercooler system. So as of right now, we're just trying to get the pump relocated, and we got to add a bracket to the exhaust to raise it up, push it back a little bit, give it a solid mounting point, and finish plumbing in the intercooler pipe and the blow-off valve.
One of the good old classic work cut out for you situations.
Yeah, pretty much. Doing it quick the first time wasn't the right idea. Should have did it right. Took a little more time to do it, but this has been a 2-year project of building this turbo toolbox and making everything work. And we finally got all the bugs worked out except for the intercooler condensation issue, and we're hoping that this fixes that.
How much water did you say you drained out of the intercooler before?
It was out of between the intercooler, the piping, the MAF sensor, and what I wiped out of the throttle body. I would say somewhere in the 2 20-ounce bottle ranges.
Holy cow.
Like it was terrible. We dropped so far, it kind of rained on us after we iced down the box. So me not having a switch on the pump so it wouldn't run at all times. It doesn't have to run at all times, and I wasn't thinking about that. So by having it running at all times, we were already down below dew point, and then it rained and got cooler outside, which created less than 50 degree air temp in the tube at the throttle body. The throttle body was cold to the touch, and like the piping and the throttle body were condensated.
Jesus criminy, man.
So we took it a little too far.
A little bit.
Mashed the gas and it wasn't having it.
Yeah, no.
Not taking any of it.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a fun work in progress. Like this kit was thrown together with everything that basically we had laying around. We ended up having an issue with a used turbo we bought for it. So we upgraded. Actually, the other turbo was smaller than this one. This one's a 7875, which we didn't know the other one was smaller until after we ordered a supercore, and it didn't fit the exhaust out. We finally figured out, we can use these cheap Amazon pumps for scavenge pumps, but as far as using them for pressure pump, they've got built-in limiters that once it hits a certain PSI, it'll cut off, or they're intermittent, which means they'll cut on for 6 seconds and off for 6 seconds. But running them for water, there's no pressure on the system. It'll stay running constantly. So good for the intercooler systems. We haven't had an issue with it yet. The oil pump, on the other hand, we ended up having to upgrade to the Turbo Works. Really nice pump, base model, 12 volt, good for 60 PSI. It ain't let me down yet. And between the cooler, our little propane oil tank, and the drain lines, we put a GM spin-on filter with the old school adapter up under the box and tied in some hand lines and stuff to basically the tank gravity feeds into the filter, and then the pump pulls vacuum through the filter into the cooler with its fan on it, and then goes into the pump and pressurizes. And we got a temp and a pressure sensor. At first I thought the pressure sensor or the temp sensor wasn't working. Come to find out that it just isn't getting above 100 degrees. So
Okay.
The gauge starts at 100 degrees, so we're gonna have to switch over to a digital gauge to get a more accurate reading on that.
Oh, okay.
But the oil pressure sensor hasn't worked. I think it was just a dud of a sensor, so I got to get one ordered and get it put on there. But that way we monitor inside the truck, pressure and temps. If the turbo's going out and it starts to overheat or something and start getting real hot and that oil heats up, we'd know it. Pressure-wise, we know if the pump kicked off. But aside from that, just mounting in all the wastegate and everything back here, we're able to run, whatever management system as far as boost control. I am looking to, at some point, start a new build with all updated parts. We got a different design tank. We found that'll work really well. Go with a little bit deeper box. And then I'll actually be building a extension pipe for the turbo that I will cut out a portion of the toolbox in the bottom below it, but instead of it being a circular hole, we're going to mount a flange, a flat steel plate in the bottom over that hole, and then from each side gasket and T4 flange to make an extension pipe where you can bolt the pipe right to the bottom of the box through into the turbo.
Okay.
And then the box will kind of support the turbo itself.
Okay.
And then it goes through the bed and under to run back to your long tube headers. I wanted to build a modular setup. If something happened, it got damaged, turbo went out, sent metal all into the oil components, it's all in the tank. It can all be taken apart. It can all be cleaned out.
And it's all in the same area. You don't have to really
Yeah.
deal with a cluttered engine bay, nothing like that.
Well, and we'll be putting in a master plug, a firewall main plug, where we'll give you the pinouts. It'll be whatever's wired into this system back here. You'll get the wide band. It'll already be wired in. So basically, with the system being modular, as long as the bed is the same width, you could transfer it to vehicle, and just have to swap all your main electronics over under the hood and just wire it back to the box. So the nice part about that is just being able to take everything down and work on it on a bench, not having to worry about whether you can monitor what's going on. You don't have to worry about space confinements under the hood and where you're going to put stuff. And so far, it's on a soft tune. I've beat the piss out of it. I've been waiting for this for 2 years. I've beat the piss out of it. Truck's got 115,000 miles. We're factory bolt-ons, stock bottom end. It still has factory cam lifters, DODs, just DODs turned on. It has performed well. The response between having a little smaller intercooler piping and the bigger turbo.
Just a little big. Just a little big. Just the size of my head.
The spool time is fairly decent on it. There's a little bit of lag, but not as much as you would imagine for a 5,500 pound truck.
You call it a white whale, don't you?
Yeah. It's heavy. You know, it comes out to play. If it's going to hit, it's going to do damage. I would like to start promoting these boxes and selling them, and with all the updated parts, we can get them out the door as a modular kit, like I said, wideband, boost controller. You'll get the kit for the boost controller. Everything that needs to be plumbed in and wired in back here will already be installed out of those kits. But you'll get the choice of turbo size, whether or not you want a downpipe pre-made or make one yourself. All of that contributes to price.
And that'll essentially all come in like a toolbox like this, right?
Yeah. So when you get it, it's going to get shipped in, all strapped down and wrapped up to a crate, but you will physically be able to sit it right on the back of the truck, fill it with oil, wire everything in, plumb your exhaust, and send it.
Hell yeah. That's super cool, man.
So, like I said, there will be electrical, there will be exhaust that has to be ran to it. Any gauges you want on the interior that don't come with the kit, you know, you'll have to wire those in, but we'll have pinouts and power and ground. So you're basically running power and ground for your fans from a relay, aftermarket relay, whatever you want to add into your system prior to the box. You'll be running the power and ground for the pump, power and ground for your temp and pressure sensors, and, well, signal wires for your temp sensors. Wideband, 4-wire, it'll be wired directly into the plug. So you just take your plug, cut it off or extend your wiring from your wideband to the box. Basically, you just don't have a plug for the wideband anymore. It's all wired into the main connector.
Okay.
And we'll have a quick disconnect for that as well, so that if the sensor goes bad, you can unconnect it, but that way it's replaceable if it goes bad.
Oh yeah. Now, I was going to do a formal interview with you, but I think the last few minutes of you talking kind of gives everybody what they need to know about you and what you're about over here, man.
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything.
You like making shit, you like making shit go fast, and you like making shit conveniently go fast.
Absolutely. We don't take it too serious. Like, as long as customers get the right, you get what you pay for nowadays. So
yeah.
I take care of my customers, and it's just the fact of you either spend the money and do it right the first time, or you spend less money and have to do it a second time.
3-4 more times sometimes.
So picking who you go to is, you need to search around. I'm not going to compete with anybody. I have fun doing what I do. I'll take care of you if you come by here, but there's plenty of work to go around for everybody in the area, and a lot of us work together. There's guys that do.
Small town, everybody knows everything.
Oh yeah.
If I don't do it, I will put you in contact with somebody it's all about having fun and enjoying what you do. And man, if it weren't for cars, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah.
Amen.
Sometimes it costs me a little too much because I listen to other people.
Amen.
We all make mistakes. We all learn every day. And
oh yeah. But man, I'm gonna get some more shots of you guys doing some work and try to stay out of your hair as much as I can here. Appreciate you giving me some insight.
Absolutely. All right, put it back in the hole and let me put my finger on it.
That's what she said.
Put the nuts on.
That's what she said.
There probably was a lot easier way to do this if I'd have used my left arm on the inside.
I was about to say, you put the bolts down and gravity will do half of this work for you.
I don't know why, but it's too late now.
You win some, you lose some.
Oh, 3.
Is it? Oh,
yeah, this is going to be dinner then.
Oh, man. Go ahead and text the boy.
Freaking gnats, man.
Dude, they're vicious. They are resilient.
The longer the day goes on, the more I feel like Pigpen.
Turkey farms across the street.
That over there literally flies to
I
shit.
come out and have a cup of coffee on the front porch, smoke my first cigarette of the day, and you walk out and you take that first morning whiff, and you're like, no, fuck this,
Yeah.
I'm making some.
I'm out.
Like, you just cannot do it. Like,
Sometimes the
air
farm
out.
smell is nice, right? And it makes you feel like you're at home, but then other times you just don't want to be near it.
Nope. Like, I love being out here, don't get me wrong. I still.
Huh?
Okay with that. If it comes down to needing a bigger pump, we're gonna have to go with the Davis pump. Hi guys!
Hey, y'all are going to be seeing a lot more of this, man. I just wanted to kind of give you a quick rundown of everything he's got going here. I like it. I think some cool things are going to be built out of this shop, and hopefully you guys get to see a good bit of that. I will be back here.
Raise hell! Raise hell!